You've been playing for years now and you're still losing at the net. Well, that's probably because you don't know these secrets that is gonna completely transform your front game. In this video, we're here with Olympian Toby Ng to teach us how to do that exactly in a step-by-step guide.
So the first thing we want to really do is hit the shuttle and step at the same time. That way we can shorten our stroke, use a little bit more of our fingers to generate power, but it's the step that will actually give us that power. So when we're kind of leading into our shots, instead of having to swing, because at the front, you have very little time and we want to be able to maximize our power with a short swing.
Okay, so show us how to do this. So you said hit and step at the same time. What does that look like?
So you can come a little closer, right? And then just try and hit it straight.
Hit it straight,
okay,
yeah,
okay. Go.
I haven't played badminton in a while.
So you actually are naturally doing it, which is good.
Okay.
But not everyone is naturally doing that. Sometimes they're just over here and then they reach.
So is there an exercise or drill that people can do to get into the habit of stepping and hitting at the same time?
I mean, how we just practice the drill is good. Feeding a little bit quicker also is going to be useful so that you can kind of be ready to move again.
Right.
Your goal actually was just to get to the shuttle, which is fine. But if you're also thinking like, oh, I need to hit this hard, then you can see things kind of start to fall apart.
Makes sense. All right. Pretty good first tip. And sometimes it's a foundation that we often ignore, but it's going to get even better with our next step. Step number 2, which is?
Contact point.
Okay.
This one's pretty important because it's a bit of style of how you play at the front.
Isn't it just getting everything as early as possible?
It is, but it also depends on how you hold the racket, right?
Okay.
So if I hold the racket this way facing the net and I hit it this way, right? It's actually very difficult to get angle.
Like you're doing the panhandle hold right now.
But what I actually want to be able to do is kind of keep a more neutral grip. So the wrist should be relaxed and you'll naturally angle forward this way, right? So the difference between angle forward and angle up is quite important because especially when it's fast, if I'm hitting this way, my best shot will be flat.
Okay.
If I can catch it here, then I can automatically get angle. So I'm actually going to contact earlier because my racket is earlier here.
Right.
If it's too fast for me, I can always come back and now I'm able to keep it flat.
Okay.
If I'm in this position and I'm late, like a lot of people are, what happens to that contact point?
Right.
It's going to go up. And that's very dangerous for the front court player, that you're at the front and your shots are going up.
Yeah, I definitely make a mistake. Okay, let's show this. Okay.
Just duck, back up and duck down. Yeah, here.
Okay,
right?
and then I'm trying to hit down?
Yeah, good. Okay, try and add that step. Okay, so again, still a little bit of habit, right? So if you can take it earlier and just get that angle.
Yeah, I keep waiting for it to become flat, but the earlier is so hard. Oh.
Right.
Oh. It's just getting used to hitting shots earlier. Right, so the most important thing is actually just more speed, not hitting harder. Because if you just get it earlier, it'll come down at more of an angle, which will just be faster.
Which is actually much more dangerous too. Because if you hit it too flat, even if it's hard, it actually lets the defender block it to the other side, and it's an easier block than from down in front.
So you're just trying to get that contact point so that you can create as much angle as possible.
Yeah. So we want to be able to hold different grips depending on what you want to do.
Okay.
So we can demo this a few ways. So let's say you're trying to attack at the front, you hit the first shuttle. You're going to have to hit very quickly because you've already intercepted the first shot.
Okay.
So then your grip should probably be higher up on the racket so that you can swing faster.
Okay.
Another trick, because if you need to switch grip, right, have the thumb a lot higher on the grip in this kind of position. So if I slide over to backhand, it's actually like I'm almost already holding a backhand grip.
Okay.
So I'm very fast on the backhand.
Yes.
But then on the forehand side, it's a little awkward at first. But everything from this position is enough if you're already using the short swing.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what happens when you're trying to hold it shorter, right?
Yeah.
But you said there was also another grip?
Yeah. So if you're trying to help your partner in the back, maybe they're trying to drive it to the other side and you maybe back up a little bit more at the front. If you need more reach, then obviously you should hold the grip a bit lower.
Okay.
So this is what happens. I see a lot of people that they just still hold the short grip and then they're not able to help intercepts because the grip is too short.
Okay.
So it's important to understand if you're looking for drives to cut off, then it's okay to use a little bit more reach.
Right.
But understand that you're also not going to be able to swing as quickly. So it's a trade-off.
Okay, so this sounds like it's hard to practice. How do we practice this?
The first one will be, I'll just feed at the front quickly, and then so you can kind of practice switching.
So,
and then we'll show the other one after.
Sure, sounds good.
You probably come a little closer, it's fine.
Okay.
Right? So I want to be able to, right?
This feels wrong. It feels like I have no control over my racket.
Yeah, you're not supposed to roll though. If you roll, it's too slow.
Okay, then how do we do it?
You're in this kind of position. So like, it's actually like a very mild twist.
So what I was making the mistake is I was doing this with my fingers, which felt like I was losing control of the racket. But what Toby is saying is just keep it up here, and you can just turn your wrist if it's small. And if it's bigger, then you just can turn your body a little bit more.
So let's try again, and then you'll probably be better out there, right? Okay.
Yeah, makes sense. Not everyone does this, right? Not every pro does this.
No, this is very like style-wise.
Because this way is not very aggressive. It's just like constant neutral pressure.
Yes, I mean that's what you should start with first,
Right.
and once you kind of get the basics down, then you can kind of make your own way.
Impressive. Okay.
So step 4 is learning how to move to cover the forehand side, assuming you're right-handed. So we're gonna move first to cover the first shot, and then probably step back and cover because we need more time. So we need to focus on how we make the most efficient footwork.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Okay, I will demonstrate.
Sure.
Okay, so the first thing we'll do is you're gonna shadow swing at the front, and then right after you swing, I'm gonna kind of try and hit it past you, and then you're gonna try and step back. And
Okay.
Yes. Good. Okay, so it's better to practice this way first, so you really kind of focus on moving before the next shot comes, because you're training to be ready for the next shot.
Yes.
So the next level of how we would practice this is I'll feed both shots.
Okay.
So we'll give that a little bit of try. Okay.
So both?
So the front, yeah. Good.
It's not easy.
It isn't. So the challenge is if I feed both shots, then you're still making timing with me.
Yes.
Right? So then the last layer, once you kind of get that timing better and you're kind of more used to it, is to try and do the single shot. So I'm gonna give you the first shot, try and hit it to me, and I'm gonna try and drive it past you. You'll probably find this much easier if you can make timing, because then it's your timing, making time with your first shot.
So for this one, how do you want me to hit it back to you? Flatter back to you?
Yeah, I'll give you a pretty tight shot, just hit it, and then I'll try and drive it past you. Good.
Ooh. So I can feel that I'm trying to do it, but I don't think I'm doing it very well. It's more of like just my timing is off, which...
Exactly, where the repetitions will come in and be like, okay, I got the timing, I got the timing, right? So then you kind of make a better adjustment. But then if you don't have the fundamental technique, then it's almost like you're just trying to like randomly hit shots at the front and hope for the best.
So we learned a lot already. Now step 5 is to do the other side?
The other side. So I'll teach you how I like to do it.
Okay.
And I'll also teach you how it's commonly done. It's not like one is right or wrong. Like try whatever works for you, and then you can kind of go from there.
Okay, sure. Let's see it. How do we do it?
Okay, so let's go with the footwork first.
Okay.
So the footwork is the same. You have that first step forward. The generic way it really is just step back with left.
Okay.
Right? So you can kind of go 1 and then 2. However, I like to add the back shuffle. It's like a backwards chassé step. So after I step and hit, it's actually a shuffle step back.
That sounds like it takes a lot of time.
It does, but at the same time, it's not too bad, because if you need more distance, it's better to chassé step backwards than to jump backward.
Okay.
Right? So if I'm over here and I need to go back, I can still come back in this kind of position. So here is try to keep the swing short enough that you can pull back while you still see your racket. So this is, again, a bit of a style thing. However, if you want to swing, you have to be able to make that timing, which is quite difficult.
Right.
So if you lose track of your racket because you're trying to swing, that's a lot harder than just here, relax, and then just squeeze.
Okay, let's try it.
So same thing. We're going to shadow swing at the front,
Okay.
and then I'll give you one, and then try and hit the second one.
Okay, sure.
Okay. So swing.
Oh, shit.
Try the chassé step.
Chassé step?
Yeah, try it. Give it a try.
Because that is already too far. I'm
Just give
extending
it a
too
try.
much? Okay.
Like, see if you like it more.
Okay.
So what
I
do you
do
think?
like it more.
You like it more, right?
It's because you have to extend less.
Yeah.
And I feel like everything's better when you're extending less. One more on this point that I've recently learned while filming for our pickleball channel. You tried pickleball, right?
I've tried a couple of times.
Okay, so pickleball, one thing that's so important is you pretty much never want to extend because shots will lose control. And I feel like learning that coming back to badminton, it applies to almost every sport. Extension is losing balance and control. So the majority of the time, if you can just stay in a ball area, you're going to be more in control.
Most of the time, right? So again, if you're reaching, then you should just expect to not have as much power. So again, for pickleball, probably it's not going to work out for you, right? Because you still have to generate some kind of horseback. But sometimes for badminton, that reach is actually useful, but don't expect to hit very hard.
Right. Okay, there it is. So those were the secrets to dominating at the net. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and also check out Toby in our description down below.